Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Alexa. If you're new here, welcome, and if you are a subscriber, thank you for tuning in again. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. We are transitioning from the talk show to just me right now creating content for you guys. I honestly miss YouTube, and I miss actually talking to you guys like this without all the setup and just me and you. And I've actually been reading a lot of your comments on here. So there was one specific comment and that got my attention. Someone asked me to do a video where they wanted me to share my progress on my healing journey as far as healing my daddy issues. Okay, I say healing because we're still healing. We're not healed yet, and I honestly don't think I will ever be completely healed. Because there's always certain things that trigger me, and I want to talk to you guys about those things too. And I also want to share just a few things that I did that allowed me to be in a better place mentally, and what allowed me to even forgive my dad for everything that has happened, right? So if you're new here, I'm going to link the video where I talk about my daddy issues. This was like maybe like a year ago or two, and I want to share as well how we're here now. Okay, so first I want to talk to you guys all about how I even got to start healing, what made me start healing. So I was going through a season in my life where I was very angry, y'all. And my anger was not only with my dad, but it was with him initially, but I started to project my anger with everybody that was close to me. Not only everybody that was close to me, but also people from my past that I was also angry at them. The anger just got worse, you know what I mean? And I just didn't like it. In those moments, I didn't understand what was happening. I didn't know that I was angry, and I didn't know why, you know? But the more that I started to like dig deeper, I started to understand, okay, I'm angry because of my dad. And like that situation really just made my relationships, whether they were platonic or romantic, very weird and difficult. Also, I realized that my daddy issues played a big part in my dating life. Okay, so from me getting married younger at 19 to getting a divorce at 22 to then like just when I was dating, it was just bad. I was attracting a lot of broken men. Okay, and I realized there was a pattern, and once I figured out the pattern, I was like, okay, yeah, I need to do some work, because it's not always about the other person. I wasn't necessarily doing something wrong, but just like where I was mentally, I was attracting the wrong man. And even like friendships, I wasn't around the right people for me. I was just in spaces with people just there, you know. I've always been the type of woman that whenever I'm in a new space or in spaces with people, I'm always pouring into those spaces. I'm always sharing. I'm always trying to help people. I'm always trying to like make people better for some reason or heal them. And I'm just like, why I'm not putting that into myself, right? Because clearly I needed the help. And so the first thing that I started to do, I started to read books, self-development books. I would read books that, you know, in a way had some form of therapy. If you don't know this, I want you to know that books are very healing. Okay, they can help you heal. If you find the right book for whatever you're trying to discover about yourself, I promise you, books help. So at the time, I really couldn't afford therapy. I think I went to therapy once, but for some reason, you know, me and the therapist didn't really connect. I only had like 4 sessions with her. It wasn't long at all, so I don't think we even had enough time to connect. So I just stopped doing it, not because I wanted to, but because I couldn't afford it. And that's when I started going into reading books, y'all. And when I tell you, there was this one book that changed my life. I'm gonna insert it right here. The Child in You. This book, oh my gosh, when I tell you, it allowed me to really discover and understand my inner child, you know. So there is a sun child and you have a shadow child. the son child is always, happy. It's in a, this child grew up in a very healthy environment with both parents, Then you have the shadow child that doesn't have much of that, right? This child is in a dark environment, growing up maybe without just one parent. And there's a lot of like unhealthiness with that child. And I think that was me. So, all those things came about. That book just really allowed me to really understand the younger Alexa, what I was really going through. I would read pages and I would be like, and I would just feel it. I'm like, yes, like it was wild, y'all. But that book really helped a lot. And then I started to read this other book right here, that it is What Happened to You by Oprah Winfrey and Dr. Bruce Perry. This book is a conversation where they talk about trauma, healing, and all these other things. It's just a conversation between Oprah and Dr. Bruce, and they're like, she's asking them questions about all these things. And it's very deep, so you have to read those books if you are trying to heal something about you, or just kind of like maybe understand where your traumas come from and why you act a certain way, or what's going on in your life, okay? Now, I will say this too. Always be open to therapy. Therapy, if you can afford it. I mean, there also are so many new forms of therapy now that you can access. I would suggest you to do so, because I think we all need to talk to somebody at some point. So books definitely helped me a lot in that aspect. And then, of course, I had to not only read the book, but also apply what I was reading and the things that I was learning. So, I just started doing the work, you guys. And when I mean doing the work, I really mean like even going to church. Second thing I started to do was praying more. And I started to really intentionally pray and asking God to allow me to forgive my father, right? Because I was a wreck. It was just affecting me in everywhere. And at the time, I had already met my boyfriend, and I remember him talking to me one time, and he was telling me like, hey, he just gave me a different perspective of my dad and just parents in general, right? He was like, a lot of times we have to look at our parents like they are our employees. So he was like, you gotta think of yourself as you're the boss, the employer, and him being your employee. And you have to understand that you have to treat him as that. Like, you don't have to be enemies with him. You don't have to hate him. You don't have to be mad at him. But just understand that sometimes we have to like parent our parents. And when he gave me that analogy, the analogy really did it for me, because I know for me, I am a person that is very much like a boss lady, you know what I'm saying? And when he put that analogy, it just kind of worked out for me. I'm like, you know what? That makes sense. But yes, right? I just have to understand that, at the end of the day, I didn't do anything wrong. Like, it's not my fault, right? And understanding these things. But I think also God helped me understand this better, because me asking for him to allow me to forgive my dad, it was really it, I started getting on my, reading my Bible. I would even get on the Bible app and just like go over like the forgiveness plans. I read so many forgiveness plans, y'all. And at the same time, I was asking the Lord to just remove that spirit, because honestly, the ankerness wasn't healthy. And I know that doesn't come from God. So I needed to remove those feelings out of me. And it helped. Honestly, it really did help. So November of 2023, I actually reached out to my dad. I sent him a text message, and right before I did that, I prayed about it, and I told myself, okay, Alexa, if he doesn't respond, it's okay. You don't have to wait, you don't have to wait for a response from him. You just do your part. Sorry that the lighting is shifting. I'm like natural lighting right now. Okay. So sent the text message. Guess what? He did not respond. He left me on red, because you could say he has these red receipts on. So he left me on red, and I honestly just smiled at the message. I was literally like this. I just smiled at it. And I felt very proud of myself, because it did not change my mood. It did not change anything. And that's when I realized, okay, we're making progress here, because the old me would have got upset. I would have been like, I don't know why I texted him, and I would have regretted everything, but I did not at that moment. So that's when I realized, I'm like, okay, I'm making progress here, Then I believe December, the following month, I actually saw him in person. And when I saw him in person, it was very unexpected. I just wasn't expecting it. But I know one thing, I do know that God is going to always challenge you. And God, I think that was God, like, let me see if you already forgave him, right? Let me see if you actually been intentional about this. And so when I saw him, I literally, y'all, I promise you, I literally did not. I was just so happy. It was just like, I greeted him with so much like happiness. I was like, hey, how are you? Hey, Dad, how are you? He gave me the opposite reaction, of course. Like he didn't know who I was, or he didn't care who I was in that moment. It did not shake me. Okay, I was so happy still. My mood did not change. My cousin was with me, and she was like, babe, I'm so proud of you. And I was like, I am proud of myself. Because in that, y'all, that moment is when I realized I have forgiven him. I forgave him. I forgave him. Okay, you know what I mean. So in that moment, I realized that I was no longer angry at him. And one thing about God, when you are intentional, when you really pray with so much faith and intention, God is going to come through for you. God is going to show up for you. God is going to allow you to see that he is able. And I was able to do that. So from that moment on, you guys, my life did a turn. By that time, I'd already cut my locks. If you guys want a video of why I cut my locks, let me know in the comments below. I will give you a detailed video, because I don't think I have gave you guys a very detailed video about that. And trust me, it gets very deep. So let me know in the comments if you want to see that. But that's also, by that time I had already cut my locks, and I had already told myself like, hey, we're going into new things. I don't want to walk into the new year with like baggage. I don't want to walk into the new year, upset, angry at anybody. And yeah, honestly, I'm still healing. Sometimes I still struggle with things. And let me tell you guys the things that I struggle with. I struggle a lot with abandonment issues. And that is something that I'm still working on. Especially my relationship. I sometimes feel triggered. And it's not my boyfriend's fault. It has nothing to do with him at all. It's something that I'm still dealing with. We're both busy. He has a busy schedule. I clearly have a busy schedule as well. But sometimes when my boyfriend is not, like, let's say he takes a long time to respond, I get triggered. And I start to feel like, okay, is he gonna leave me? And I start having all those crazy thoughts. But I've learned to manage those feelings too. And the thing that I do whenever I have those feelings, I just pray. And I start praying. I ask the Lord, God, I pray that you remove these negative feelings out of me, because I know they're not true. Because you will know when something is true, when something is not true. And I promise you, it works. The prayer always works for me. Whenever I ask God to release those feelings out of me, he does. And I feel better, and then boom, he'll text or he'll reach out or whatever the case may be. That's just my confirmation, So I'm still dealing with that, the abandonment issues. It's hard. It's hard when you have okay, let me just say this. Dealing with trauma is very hard. And I'm pretty sure I think we all have some type of trauma that we're trying to heal. But I just want to encourage you on this video, if you're watching this right now, that it gets better. And I also want to encourage you to pray. And I want to encourage you to keep God first and allow God, let God be the healer in your life. Let him be the one to take control over everything that you have going on. Because the moment you allow God to do the work for you, and you release it and you let him be the one to take care of that, I promise you, your life will get easier. Anytime that I always wanted to take care of things by myself, it failed. Anytime that I thought I had it, it failed. In the moment that I started to allow God to just take care of the things that I need to, y'all listen, God is so good. And we just have to go to him. So that's what I want to encourage you if you're watching this video. If you're going through something tough, you know what I'm saying? Let him be the one to take care of your burdens and whatever you're carrying. We should not be on this earth feeling like we're alone. We should not be on this earth feeling like, oh my gosh, like it's the end of the world. Like, yeah, sometimes it gets tough, y'all. I promise y'all I've been there. But I also remind myself every single time that I am not alone and that God knows exactly what I need. And sometimes He just wants us to go to Him. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, any comments, please leave them below in the comment section. I would like to hear from you. Like, what is something that you're dealing with? What is some trauma that you're trying to recover from? What is something that you're trying to let go of, right? Have you allowed God to be the one to take care of the things that you have to take care of? I mean, that you're going through. So thank you guys so much. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. And I will see you guys on my next one. Bye.